If you feel like you keep learning the same lesson over and over again, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Libby, and I'm a transformation coach. One of the most frustrating experiences in healing is feeling like you're aware, you've done inner work, you understand your patterns, and yet you still end up in the same emotional cycles. This is where ego loops come in. And once you understand them, nothing about your stuckness feels confusing anymore. An ego loop is a repetitive cycle of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors designed to keep you feeling familiar, not free. The ego's job is not growth, it's identity preservation. Even if that identity is painful, an ego loop keeps asking, who do I know myself to be? What feels predictable? What keeps me safe from uncertainty? So if change threatens your sense of self, the ego resists quietly and convincingly. Ego loops often sound logical. They sound like, I need to figure this out more first. I'll start when I feel ready. This is just who I am. I always mess this up. What if I fail again? They feel like truth, but they're actually protection, disguised as logic. The ego uses repetition to avoid the discomfort of the unknown. Many people get stuck at the awareness stage. They say, I know my pattern, I know where it comes from, I understand why I do this, but understanding a loop does not automatically dissolve it. Why? Because ego loops are reinforced in the nervous system, not just the mind. If the body still associates change with threat, the loop continues, even with insight. Ego loops form during moments where you felt powerless, you needed control, you learned a belief to stay safe, you adapted to survive emotionally. At the time, the loop helped you cope, but over time, it becomes a limitation. The ego doesn't update itself automatically. It repeats what once worked. Change threatens identity. If you've always seen yourself as the strong one who struggles, the overthinker, the fixer, the one who can't follow through, then changing behavior feels like losing yourself. So the ego pulls you back into familiarity, not because it's right, but because it's known. You're likely in an ego loop when you feel stuck but busy, you revisit the same thoughts repetitively, you oscillate between hope and self-doubt, you feel exhausted by your own mind, you delay action while convincing yourself working on it. Loops feel active but keep you in place. Ego loops often protect an inner child wound, a shadow part that fears rejection, an unmet need for safety or validation. Breaking the loop requires compassion, not force. When the ego feels attacked, it tightens. When it feels understood, it loosens. You don't break an ego loop by arguing with it. You break it by noticing the pattern without judgment, naming the loop, pausing instead of reacting, creating safety in the body, choosing a slightly different response. Small disruptions retrain the system. You don't leap out of loops, you step out of them. Pressure strengthens ego's defenses. Safety dissolves them. When your nervous system feels supported, the mind softens, the loop loses urgency, choice becomes available. Freedom isn't the absence of fear, it's the presence of self-trust. Outside ego loops, you respond instead of react. You trust yourself more. You stop over-identifying with thoughts. You move forward without needing certainty. The mind becomes a tool, not a trap. This channel isn't about bypassing the ego. It's about understanding it. We don't silence the mind. We teach it safety. Because when the ego feels safe, it stops repeating old stories. if you've been stuck in cycles, if you've judged yourself for repeating patterns, if you've felt frustrated by your own mind, you're not broken, you're patterned. And patterns can be changed. Subscribe for grounded transformation. Comment if this resonated. And remember, awareness and safety creates freedom. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching, check my link in the bio.